of the day. I said, I'm just kind of mixed up, you know?
Good morning. It's day 41. I just stepped on trail at Indian Grave Gap. Today's destination is Iron Mountain, which is about 15 miles. So I got to meet Miss Janet as a customer. I met her at Neil's Gap on like day 4 briefly. I'm gonna curtail this conversation till later because of the climb. You this way too. Well, I thought I would hang out here for a minute, but it's kind of windy. I guess I can put a jacket on. Let's see. Get down off this summit a little bit. Protected spot before I take a break. Already the wind is calmer just this far from the summit. So this is deceiving. This makes you think you're supposed to go through the turnstile. Or not the turnstile, but the fence thing. But you actually don't, because the next blaze is around the bend here, still on this side of the fence. Very nice moss though. These are the woods about halfway up Unica. This is the part of the woods where it's very difficult to make out the path. You just have to kind of walk from one blaze to the next and just scan for the next blaze, because the ground cover is either soft green moss or soft pine needles, and there's not a lot of differentiation of where the path is of the trail. So you just look for the blaze. And then look for the next blaze. You know, I thought about taking a lunch break here. I'm in this little, I don't know, spot between trees on the north side of Unica Mountain. I thought about lunch. It's 10 after 1, but I'm only 6 miles in. I've got like almost 10 miles to go still, so I may wait until I'm down at the shelter, Cherry Gap, which I feel is more inspiring to have less than half the day ahead of me when I stop for lunch. So this will be a snack break, and also I'm getting low on water, so I'll refill between here and lunch. But this sure is pretty. Just with the sunlight and the ground cover and all the moss and the pine trees. I wanted to say cherry maple, but curly maple was the shelter before that. It's just Cherry Gap. So I stopped at Cherry Gap shelter for lunch, and it's crazy. You could like walk all day and not see anybody go in the same direction as you until you stop, and then it's like every 10 minutes a person goes by. So in like the 45 minutes to an hour, I don't know how long I was there, at least half a dozen people either walked by or stopped for lunch there, stopped for water. So it got pretty crowded there for a minute. Now that I'm back on trail, I'm hiking alone. Probably won't see anybody until I get to the next campsite where people are stopped. Now I do see people walking in the opposite direction, which by and large has been slack packers that are generally speaking northbound but are hiking south for the day to connect some dots between road crossings and pickup points. It's usually how that works, and that's what I was doing yesterday. It's a paved road. I realize that. All right. So Apple Orchard, 1.2 miles. As Janet said something about the apple orchard, that's like halfway, a little closer than halfway between where I'm standing and where I intended to camp, which is Iron Mountain. I'm gonna look. I don't, there's no point called Apple Orchard on far out that I saw, but there was a campsite about a mile from here, so maybe that is it. Let me check the app. So I stopped back there for water at what must be the apple orchard. It looked like an apple orchard. The trees, looked like they were once apple trees hundreds of years ago, and there's like 8 or 10 of them still standing. But I did see an apple laying on the ground on the trail down to water, so obviously it's an ancient apple orchard of sorts. Really gorgeous. Great spot for tenting, although the trees are too far apart and probably too fragile looking to me to want to hammock there. If they were robust and closer together, it would be a great place to hammock. But Anyway, so I've got 2 miles to Iron Mountain, and I made a stealth camp if I see a spot that looks good, because I'm carrying almost 4 liters of water. I'm setting up on this stealth site. I'll have a great view of the sunset right there.